Do you ever feel like you can't shake the feeling of sadness and you're not sure if it's a rough patch or there's something more profound happening? You're certainly not alone. In this video, I'm going to help you understand the difference between depression and sadness and know when it might be time to reach out for help. Let's start by working out what we mean by sadness and what we mean by depression. So off the bat, depression often gets mistaken for like an infinite sadness, a sadness that you can't escape from. For me and for many others, the way it would manifest is more of a blunting of emotions. So not being profoundly unhappy, but just being completely numb. And remember, I'm just a guy on the internet. Trust your feelings. Reach out to a professional. It's genuinely not as scary as you might be thinking. So sadness, it's a normal human emotion that everyone experiences. It's often linked to something bad happening, like loss or a disappointment. Depression, on the other hand, is a mental health condition that affects your mood, your ability to function on a longer term scale. And it's important to remember that whilst depression can be triggered by trauma or other negative events in your life, its root cause is an imbalance of neurotransmitters, the brain chemicals that keep us happy, keep us rewarded, and it can be treated. So let's break down the key differences between sadness and depression. Start with sadness. Sadness is usually short-term, hitting us in waves, and it's usually triggered by a situation or event in our life. And we'll have quite emotional responses to it, but we'll feel that emotional response start to dissipate as time passes. And the feelings tend to be tied to context. So we might think of sadness as being attached to a breakup or the loss of a job or a piece of really bad news. And we'd expect over time those feelings to fade. Depression, on the other hand, is long-term, meaning that it lasts for weeks, months, and even years. And it isn't just about feeling sad, but it's a persistent low mood that seems to linger throughout our life. It's a very intrusive experience in that it permeates through our entire existence, not just our mood, but our sleep, our energy, our libido, our appetite, and the ability to enjoy things that we once loved. What can be challenging is it isn't necessarily linked to a specific trigger event. It can creep up on us. And whilst we think of depression as being an emotional problem, actually it can impact us physically as well. We might feel exhausted, we might struggle to get out of bed, we might not be able to concentrate, or it might even manifest as physical aches and pains. Let's think of it this way, sadness being a storm cloud. So it might be frustrating whilst it's here, but they come and go. We'd expect them to disappear after a few hours or a couple of days. Depression, on the other hand, is more like a heavy fog. It sets in all around us, it slows us down, it makes it really difficult for us to navigate life. And let's remind ourselves, a healthy person should feel a full spectrum of emotions. So that's ecstatic joy and, unfortunately, devastating sadness. When you're healthy, you should still have some control over these emotions. So here are some red flags for depression to watch out for in yourself or in others. Feeling hopeless, numb, or empty for most of the day, nearly every day. Losing interest in things that you once loved. Significant changes in your sleep patterns or appetite. And a general swampy feeling, that struggle to just participate in everyday life. Some statistics suggest that 1 in 6 of us will suffer from depression at some point in our life. Okay, so now we understand the difference between sadness and depression. What can we actually do about it? The general guidance is if what you're feeling has lasted 2 weeks or more, and it's impacting the way that you interact with others and go about your daily life, it is time to seek professional help. My own advice is to seek help as soon as you get the sense that something isn't right. So trusting your gut. If you're watching this video because of that feeling, either about yourself, a loved one, a colleague, now's probably the time. We can talk to mental health professionals, our doctor, our friends, our colleagues, our family members, depending on our levels of trust. And just taking that first step to articulate what you're feeling can have a huge, huge impact on your emotional state. A useful thing to do is to keep a mood journal and just briefly, maybe with a smiley face or not so smiley face, just keep track of how you're feeling each day. And actually, if you can't even bring yourself to do that, that in itself is a good sign that it is time to reach out to someone. And it's crucial to get over any stigma you have around talking about your mental health. Actually, that first step is incredibly scary. As soon as you open that door, as long as you talk to the right person, and that will differ person to person, you'll see it. There is nothing to be scared of. So while sadness and depression can feel similar, there are some key differences to be conscious of. My name's Alex. I'm on a mission to help you deal with your anxiety, your depression, your stress. And I'm really pleased you joined me for this video. I'll see you in the next one.